Markus Fürder, czyli Parov Stelar, już obecny w studio. Hello Markus, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you.
You are after 3 concerts in Poland and before your concert in Warsaw. How was it? How was the reception?
It was fantastic. We had 3 really beautiful nights. The crowd was fantastic. The fans gave us such a warm welcome. So it's like coming home.
Nice to hear it. Markus, what do you prefer? Making music, producing music, or just touring with the band alive?
Oh, well, I think it's a mixture of all, because I can't live with just making music. After 2 weeks in my studio, I get sick. I must sleep minimum 1 day in the tour bus. So it's a mixture.
And what can we expect from today's concert in Warsaw? How huge is the Parov Stelar alive? I've seen you a couple of years ago in Fabryka Trzciny. It was 2 years ago or something, and there was quite a huge band. So how is it now?
Well, on stage we have now 6 people. We have saxophone, trumpet, bass, vocals, drums, and me on the laptop. Anything forgotten? I don't think so. Yeah.
Your new record, The Princess, has just been released, but let's start from the beginning. How did it start? How did it start, this Parov Stelar thing? I know that you were a DJ in the beginning, but just let's come back some years ago, some years before.
Well, in fact, it was an accident. I started my career as a graphic designer and as a painter, and in my hometown, techno was a very big thing at this time. It was about 1992.
Yeah, I understand.
And I did all the flyers for these parties, and it was the first touch for me with electronic music. And I told the promoter that sounds so easy. It's just bum, bum, bum. What is that music for you? And he said, yes, come to the shows and have a look. And then I was so impressed about that. I said, okay, I want to try this because it sounds very easy, and you see all the girls are screaming, so the DJ is the hero and the producer. This is what I have to do. I very quickly realized that it's not that easy, but I was infected with making music, and that was the starting point. I bought a sampler and produced my first beats, and that was,
And then you started touring as a DJ?
Well, first it took me some years to find and to work on my skills as a producer, because it's not that you buy a sampler and then you have your hit. I thought that, but it took me some years, and I think the record Kiss Kiss. After Kiss Kiss, it was something like my breakthrough, and the first requests for DJing were coming in. I was really nervous at that time. But I started as a DJ in small clubs, and then the thing was growing.
Proszę Państwa, posłuchajmy teraz utworu otwierającego najnowszy album Parova Stelara, The Princess, utwór zatytułowany Mila's Dream. Godzina 19:21, proszę Państwa, to Mila's Dream zespołu Parov Stelar obecny w naszym studio. Markus, you told me that you've got some interesting story about that number to tell us.
Well, Mila's Dream it was funny because I was in a hurry to finish this album, and I thought, there's a track missing for me, but I don't have the time to record it because we're always touring. So I took all my equipment with me, asked the band, guys, take your microphones off in your studio and come take it with on tour. So this track was completely recorded on tour in backstage rooms, in the bus, and it's a very emotional track for me because I never will forget the story behind it.
Are you touring a lot?
Yes. Too much. Ask my wife. It's too much.
So you don't take your wife on tour?
Well, mostly she is with us on tour, but at the moment she's pregnant, and we're
congratulations!
Thank you. We're expecting our first baby in July, so it's too exhausting for her. But
I can imagine. Yeah,
she's preparing her first solo
So you
album.
are becoming a father very quickly. In July, it's June, July, so within 2 months.
Yes.
That's great. Well, Markus, for more than a couple of years, we can observe a huge popularity of jazz and swing. Nowadays, especially swing in modern music. Mainstream artists come back to the 60s. And you come back even earlier to jazz and swing from the 30s and from the 40s. How can can you explain such a popularity of jazz and swing from the 30s nowadays?
Well, first of all, I have to say I don't feel myself just in the swing thing. And if you have a listen to the Princess, you find, of course, some electro
it's
thing.
absolutely less
Yes.
swing than the former ones.
And this is important for me as well, because I don't want just to be part of a hype. So we want to show more than just one direction.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, we love this swing influence a lot, and it's hard to say why. Especially this thing is getting bigger and bigger. Maybe this guys from the swing era were the first raver, because if you,
I think so.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was like it was like a revolution. And if you have a look at the first techno events, it was full of enthusiastic, energetic people, so they don't care about anything. And it was the same a little bit with the 20 era.
Wow, so that's a nice theory. Proszę Państwa, teraz już wiemy, Markus uważa, że pierwszymi właśnie prekursorami muzyki klubowej, muzyki techno byli właśnie panowie, którzy wymyślili swing. So, some critics, they call you the king of electro swing, so, but you are not into such a label.
Well, of course, I feel honored if somebody calls you the king, but it's also a dangerous position that you can have as a king, because let's have a look at the kings in times before us.
Yes.
Most of them were killed. But of course, I feel honored, and there were some people who produced in this direction before Parov Stelar, Light, like Mr. Scruff or. What was the name? Gabin. But I think we were the first band, or was the first producer, who forced this direction, and yeah.
But so, how did you find this direction? I mean, okay, I just would like some trumpet and some banjo things from the 30s. How did you invent it?
Well, again, it was an accident. It came. I come from minimal techno and more electronic stuff. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's a live program, so
yeah.
it can happen. No problem.
And I was producing a minimal track and had a brand new sampler, and just for fun, I had a Billie Holiday sample. It was looping and looping, and beside it, from my computer, the Fall to the Floor beat was running, and it fit so perfectly. I said, "Oh, that sounds funny. Let's try that." And at the end, Kiss Kiss developed. Yeah, and the rest is history.
Okay, well, the history is now. I can tell it. The next number we're gonna listen is the song for the Crickets. Do you have any special story about that number, or just the number during the work on this record?
For me, this is the summer track. This is the track that is perfectly for sitting outside, head in the clouds. A nice evening with 2 beers minimum.
Well, okay, you choose 2 beers. I would like just a big bottle of white wine.
Not bad.
Okej, proszę Państwa, słuchamy utworu absolutnie letniego, a w związku z tym, że lato w Polsce już zawitało, więc idealny czas. Song for the Crickets to utwór z najnowszego albumu Parov Stelar, The Princess. Markus, why The Princess? And tell me about the history of the name Parov Stelar.
The Princess is... It's not a person. It's more a feeling, and for me it was. In fact, the Princess is show business. So many things are changing with success and all the things, but all the people think that if you are a successful artist, you get paid for drinking beer and doing some parties. But there's also another side of this business. So I see the Princess in her golden cage sometimes, and it was just a feeling for me, and this is the Princess.
So it means that sometimes you are tired with popularity? That's what you wanted to say?
Not really. It's popularity is a good thing, and in fact,
But sometimes it can be very tiring and exhausting. People attacking you, they want your autographs, they feel like you are their friends because they love your music, and they have a lot of your records at home, so they feel they can touch you, they can talk to you, and you don't know them. You can be nice to them, but sometimes you have enough.
well, that's part of our job, and I have to say, it's also tiring if you have to get up every day at 6 o'clock in the morning and
Yes,
to
that's
have 8
right.
hours work. So I think every job and every business has shadow sides as well, and that's good for it because nothing can be just beautiful. I think there must be always an opposite to have the respect for the good sides. But sometimes, of course, I miss my private life. I miss my family. I miss my home sometimes, and it's a strange job sometimes.
And what about this Parov Stelar? How did it come from?
In fact,
Where did it come from?
it is a fantasy name. It is a fantasy name of just my fantasy name.
I see.
There's not a big
So
story.
And it's not a special fantasy person you
No.
just invented, or your avatar or something.
No, not really. I have perfect stories for that because I think I answered this question about 3,000 times.
No, so I'm so sorry to ask you this question. I know that artists are coming, and first I should ask you which questions you don't like, so I will not answer them. I will not ask them.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so let's leave this Parov Stelar. Okay. Marcus, do you feel musically connected with bands like Defaz, Tape 5, or Caravan Palace? Because they are more like when I hear your music and when I listen to your music and when I listen to their records. So let's say it's one genre, but I can say it's electro swing, it's a lounge, it's chill out. But do you feel connected with those bands? Do you think that it's something connected with you or with them?
Honestly, I'm not so
Familiar with them?
familiar with the last work. I know Defaz from the first albums. I know
The same.
I know. Okay.
Nice, but the same.
I don't see myself in lounge music, to be honest. This is for me more cinematic style with jazzy influences.
I see.
But lounge music is for me more this the old hotel cost and this direction. I think we are more pop than lounge at the moment. But Caravan Palace, I love their 2 CDs. I know. I think they have 2 now. They are very energetic.
Yes.
I love that the power they have. You know.
Well,
So-
you also have huge power on the stage.
Yes, and I think this is important because this chill out and lounge, it's a little bit boring for me.
And I think it's a little bit past already.
Yes, already.
All those Buddha bars and
Yes.
I mean, it was wonderful some years ago, but now, as we see, more retro music, more swing, more jazz, more blues even. So, well, we'll see if Parov Stelar will be more blues on the next record. Proszę Państwa, teraz Jimmy's Gang. To muzyka formacji Parov Stelar z Austrii, a na żywo u mnie Markus, czyli lider tej formacji. Markus, tell me, what's going on now in Austrian scene? A couple of years ago, this special down-tempo Vienna sound was very, very huge, even in Poland, but I have absolutely no idea what's going on now on that kind of scene, except of Parov Stelar, of course, nowadays.
Believe me neither. I don't have no idea what's happening in my country. But I think the scene died a little bit. So there are not so many producers at the moment. 10 years ago, it was something like a paradise for...
Yeah, and the Scruder and Dorfmeister, they were absolutely great. I mean...
They were, but I don't see any development, you know. It's a little bit dead. It's a little bit boring in Austria at the moment.
Oh, well, that's pretty sad to hear this. Okay, tell me, what can we expect from today's concert? Are you going to play only the material from the Princess, or you will use also the other records material?
No, we are not a band which is going to release a new record and then strictly playing just the new songs. I think we are a band. We are still always refreshing the program during the year. Some new stuff is coming in because I'm also releasing some singles. I think it's a mixture of older tracks, but you also hear many tracks of the new album. And we have a new trumpet player. We have new visuals. So something's changed. I'm curious about the reaction of the crowd.
And when you finish the tour in Poland, so you are not coming home again? Some tours in Europe again? I mean,
well, I'm at home. I think for 7 hours, and then we go to Istanbul for a festival. After Istanbul to London, and I don't know the rest of the schedule, but it's a busy summer here.
And then finally you are coming home and you will take care about your wife.
Yes.
Proszę Państwa, tutaj utwór, którym zakończymy spotkaniem z Markusem, nazywa się Dust in the Summer Rain i właśnie będzie śpiewała żona. I've seen that you quite often use your wife to sing on your records.
Yes, of course. I love to work with her. So she lives in the same house. It's easy to get her in the studio.
Okay, so thank you very much for the conversation.
Thank you.
Have a good gig, and have absolutely good gigs all over Europe, and just have fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.